Appearing with Jack tonight are Liberace, Cassius Clay, and Jose Miller.
And now, here's Jack.
Thank you very much. I want to thank all of you for coming here tonight and giving the jewel thieves a chance at your apartments and hotel rooms. We've had a tremendous amount of robberies here in the last 6 months in New York. And last week, as you know, there was on the Lower East Side, they broke into a men's shop down there that sold oversized clothing. You know that's true. And they took everything, or not everything, a great deal, as you know. And these come from that shop, so I want to give you an idea. There's a fortune worth of metal in the zipper alone, you can understand that. This was from one of our astronauts we couldn't launch, I understand. Take these over to Gleason and have them filled. Will you do that? I read in the paper tonight, this is in the paper, that as of this year, as of this week, Santa Claus now has a zip code number. Did you know that the kids have to write a zip code number? It's a marvelous season. I love this season, particularly to see a child's face when he first sees Santa Claus in August. And it's a very special season. Speaking of children, I talk about my one daughter a great deal. This happened this week. The other night I went to the premiere of Mad, Mad, Mad World to see Johnny Winters. He's wonderful in it. I know you'll be happy to know that. When I go to the theater with my wife and daughter, I must buy and get 3 tickets in a row, you know, if we're together. Now, on a successful show like that, you've got to maybe get what you can take, and it was only 2. Well, that means we have to buy 4 and send somebody with brandy. Well, Tom Cochran, our associate producer, is always elected for that. So I have the 4 tickets. I don't know anything about aisle rows or where you sit, so I gave 2 to Randy and Tom, and Miriam and I took 2, and it so happened that our tickets were way in the back. It doesn't matter, but way in the back. And the other 2 were right down center break. Now, my daughter walks down the aisle, and I'm very proud of her. Her mother let her wear a little faint lipstick. She'll be 15 in March. And she looked really, to me, her father, just beautiful. She's very poised, very pretty, and a sweet kid. And so she marches down the aisle with Cochran, and I'm very proud. She sits down like a real lady, and everyone begins to laugh. Now, I wonder what's so funny, you see. Then she begins to talk to the person next to her, and he begins to laugh, and she begins to laugh. The audience begins to laugh. I said, what's so funny? My wife says, dear God, she sat next to Ed Sullivan. So, if I had taken those other seats, I would have done it. And my daughter has been so well raised by her mother that she doesn't even know who the enemies are, you know. It was kind of funny. I'm talking about Cochran tonight. Tom Cochran is an associate producer. He's an Irish fellow, and he's been with me about 9 years. He is, all in all, one of the finest men of God I know. He's a great guy. He's a bachelor, and I'll tell you about him. We were together in Africa last week to see Dr. Schweitzer and Lambaréné, which is in equatorial Africa on the equator. It used to be a French colony. And about 90 miles into the forest from the coast, we're in this little place. And Tom is a great, devout Catholic. And if there's a mass anywhere, Tom has to be there to check on the whole thing, you see. So I'm up early, and I go with Tom. We march through the forest, and we go to only a bamboo hut. It isn't at all a church. It's a cathedral, and, you know, to them, it's bamboo, open windows. And there's about 4 whites there. The rest are African who speak French. The educated African who speaks French in that area. And the priest comes out, and he's speaking in French, and the sermon, and I'm outside listening and watching. There's 2 little African kids out here playing and screaming. The priest says, Et Jésus dit, and Jesus said in French. And at that point, the kids begin to scream and yell. They're playing ball or something out there, and I'm watching it. He says, Et Jésus dit, pardon. He walks through the window, makes a fist, goes, wham, wham. Adjusts the surplus, goes back and says, Et Jésus dit. It's a marvelous thing to see. Let me tell you about Cochran. Cochran, when he's in New York, he goes to the Mass all day Sunday. Every Mass, he's there. He goes to Mass all day Sunday until Luchow's opens, and then that's a restaurant in New York. If there isn't a Mass being said, then he goes to a clean Italian movie. He always tries to do the right thing. Now, in Africa, and I'm always with him on these trips I make, I'm always with Tom, and Tom has to go to every Mass. So I'm always with him, and I wait outside. His place to go. I'm not Catholic, you know, and I don't understand, so I wait outside. And Tom, well, now, to go to this church I was telling you about, we had to actually get in a canoe and be paddled down the Ogowe River, where there are hippopotami and crocodile, and it's in a log that's hollowed out. It's called a pirogue, and it's no keel, and it tips easy, see? And I think, what am I doing in this tippy canoe with a Catholic, you know? Better it be a Baptist if we're going to go in. Let's get somebody who knows what they're doing. Now, Tom is the most devout, wonderful man. He doesn't smoke or drink or swim, incidentally, and so there we are. And on the show, we all who love and admire Tom so much, we're always... on Fridays, if we're meeting, he goes off to confession. And we who know and love him wonder, what did he confess? I mean, what is it? You know, did he want to get a reputation or something like that? Or my wife says he goes to report me. That's the thing that I've always... Oh, I just thought of an interesting and a poignant remark to make about Cochran. I just thought. I once described him as always doing kind things for people. And I said... He does wonderful, you know, decent Christian things. And then someone reminded me of the story. It wasn't very politic the way I said that, Christian, as if they were only ones who did any good. There was a church in the Middle West that burned down some years ago. And the rabbi of the synagogue called. And he said, Reverend, I've heard of your misfortune, and would you please use our synagogue until you rebuild your church or find other quarters? And the Reverend said, like I just did, he said, thank you. That's a very Christian thing to do. And the rabbi said, it's a very Jewish thing to do, too. Our most welcome guest. And whenever I've seen Lee, and I've known him for, 10, 12 years, he's always laughing, always smiling. He makes Dinah Shore look melancholy. When Lee smiles, his piano keys get self-conscious. Now, let's give a big welcome to a grand fellow, Liberace.
you very much.
Well, Sport, that's some jacket you got there, isn't it?
You like it?
That's real good. What is it?
It's made out of one of Sophie Tucker's all beaded bags.
Was it beat?
All beads, yeah.
Hope you don't come unstrung there. It looks like you've been at Hart Schaffner and Cartier's there.
Well, I'll say one thing. You'll never find one like it at Robert Hall's.
I will. I'm going to live with you.
I love being on your show.
I love having you.
Yeah.
And so does the audience. You can
I
tell
get
that.
so much fun out.
Miss Miller, you know, when you were playing, I was watching up in the audience.
Yeah.
Miss Miller has been to every show I've done, I think, except for a Maccabee meeting she went to once. In 7 years, she's never missed a show, maybe that one. And she's always had a seat. And she's standing for the first time in 7 years. Miss Miller, do you want to come down and sit here? Come on. Come on. Help her down. She says... You know Miss Miller?
No, I haven't.
She's the greatest television fan in the world. She's internationally famous.
Oh,
She doesn't see very well. She has a little eye trouble. But she's never missed a show.
Hello, how are you?
Okay.
Not there, here. Pardon? Well, oh dear, you couldn't get a seat tonight, huh?
No, I went home and cooked my dinner.
Did you? You still live alone?
Yes.
You don't do any carrying, no fooling around or anything? No.
I don't have to change.
Oh, don't you? I love you. So you're not going to stay. Just don't do that. Oh, I know her, boy. But you used to get, I think the union regulation is if you're on, you have to get $320, but this is a bigger show. Well, what's the price for being on camera on a show like this?
I don't belong to the union anymore.
You don't, you know, she was on the old Tonight Show. I swear, so often the union, she had to join the union. I kid you not. You don't belong anymore?
No.
Well, what's the price you have for sitting on a show like this?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Just glad to be with you and nothing like this.
Oh, thanks.
Well,
Well, my dear, this is a bigger show, you know, than the other show, and the budget's bigger. So how about $250? Lee, do people recognize you when you don't wear those clothes on the street? When you wear ordinary clothes?
Well, they do. Which is
Ordinary clothes.
Yeah, I don't dress like this on the street. I wear very simple things, you know, red or something, you know. Oh, it's cute, you know. They do recognize you, but it's kind of fun because it takes a certain amount of courage to walk up to a person you see on TV that you feel you know, but you're never quite sure how that person's going to react to, you know, someone stopping you on the street. So they come out with the most wonderful thing. It sort of comes out backwards, you know, like a lady came up to me and she said, are you or aren't you? You know, like that. And,
You're a good Catholic boy, and you should have told her.
So anyway, I just sort of let that go, and then she, then she said, I just wanted to tell you, you're one of my greatest fans. So I thanked her and asked her for an autograph.
I don't sign it much for older women anymore, autographs. I signed something for an elderly lady a couple weeks ago, and I've been on Lydia Pinkham's mailing list ever since. So you're very careful about that. Listen, I saw this in a health culture, you know, one of those health magazines. Get this. I didn't know you had a gymnasium and worked out.
Yeah.
There it is.
Uh-huh.
You have a gymnasium in your home?
You know, the way I travel around, you have to sort of live like an athlete, really. As I,
Do you fight a little? Do you?
well, when you wear clothes like this, you gotta fight. You know, I have to stop hitting you or they'll think I'm another Judy Garland or something. She always hits all her guests, you know, I mean affectionately. You know, that's why I'm doing my
Oh, why don't we belt Cassius Clay in the mouth when he comes out here? You first.
Okay.
They're peeking around cameras at you now. You all right, Miss Miller? Everything's okay? Fine. If there's nothing, you know, we'll call room service and... Do you ever take a little drink? Do you? What do you drink? There's been a bus, excuse me, there's been a bus parked outside of NBC today. It's a red, white, and blue bus, all colors, and it says, I'm the greatest. Now, I'm going to make my little speech first, and you do as you please about it. This is all very colorful and very funny and everything. I'm not happy unless I tell you my own impression. He is a very nice young man, a well-mannered young man, and I found him to be quietly very humble. Don't you think so?
Absolutely.
Now, he insists on doing this wild act, so we'll go along with it. But I don't like to be part of an act because I like the guy to be real. He happens to talk this way when he's on front of an audience, but he can talk very quiet and sensibly. I'd like you to meet, perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, the next world's champion of the Lexington YMCA, a grand young man. I hope the next champion of the United States. Why not? Cassius Clay.
Well, he has been lifting weights.
Yeah, this is Miss Miller. Sit down. Oh, excuse me, I'm so rude. This is Miss Miller.
Yes, sir.
You know Miss Miller, don't you? You ever hear of her? Well, she's a lovely lady, anyhow. Man, I was surprised to learn, you know, because I've gone along with the cliche, you know, that you're all a product of poetry and everything, but I didn't know that you were United States Olympic boxing champ, 1959 and 1960 national
not
golden...
United States Olympic champion, world Olympic champion. I had to...
Oh, now you've gone too far.
Before...
Honestly, you were?
I had to beat everybody in the United States to qualify for the whole...
Are you the world?
The world gold medal winner, right.
Well, now, how about that? 1959 and 1960 National Golden Gloves Championship, 1959 and 1960 National AAL champ.
AAU.
I didn't know you were with the union. Listen, tell me, Cassius, how many fights you had?
About 180 amateur fights, all three. That was my first three, by the way.
Yeah. Have you ever been knocked out? Have you ever been knocked out?
Never dreamed of being knocked out.
Do you really think, you feel confident that you'll...
There's not a man in the world to beat me. I'm as pretty as Liberace, and
You know, you are a very good-looking boy. Where'd you start boxing? Why did you
I
start boxing?
started boxing in Louisville, Kentucky. about
Why?
2 years ago.
Tell me, sweet, the nice little
12
story.
years ago, someone stole my bicycle.
That's I.
And I said that if I ever catch the guy, I'm going to beat him up, but I never did catch him.
You never did.
No, but
And you feel that you possibly could
I'm getting ready to fight the roughest and the toughest man in the world.
Sonny Liston.
Right.
And you feel you have a chance?
If he dreamed he beat me, he would apologize.
You really feel that strongly about it?
That's right. Sonny Liston rather take off his sport coat, soak it in gasoline, and run through hell before he fight me.
I notice he's backing away all the time. I feel it.
After I retire from the ring, I'm gonna be a great singer. I'm getting ready to cut a record with Columbia now.
Oh. I saw the album cover.
Right.
He's wearing
I
one of
have
my
album
old suits.
Right.
Yeah.
I have album.
It's the right color, too, I think, don't you?
I heard the show was in Technicolor. So
Yeah. Listen, you really think you're going to win this fight? And that'll be fun. Now, tell me, how much money, all told, would you make out of this fight?
Well, I don't.
Whether you win or lose?
Well,
You get the same if you win or lose?
It's a percentage deal, you know, but
You figured it out in your head.
They figure probably they might draw a few people. Maybe they might have a $15 million gate that night.
$15 million. How much of that would you get?
About 3. Ain't that a shame?
$3 million. Well, $3 million. Now, how much is taxable?
About $2,500,000.
Sure. How much do your backers and those guys get?
We have a 50-50 contract, but
You want to get $250,000? You'll get about $250,000 if they get half of what's left, or would you rather not discuss it? Or are you discuss it? None of my business.
Hey, Cass,
What?
Cassius, if you lose the fight, you can cry all the way to the bank with me. Okay? All right?
You've done pretty well.
He's going to win.
But I never think of losing. Don't even talk about it.
That's right.
Are you scared?
Scared?
Yeah. Would you be a little scared?
No, scared. My prediction might not come off. I predict around 8 to prove I'm great. If he keeps talking jive, he'll fall in 5. 15 times I have something else I want you in the world to know. Out of my 22 professional fights, won them all, of course, knocked out 18. 15 of those 18, I told the clown the exact round he was going down. My last fight in London, England, I told the heavyweight champion of the British Empire, I said, Henry Cooper, this is no jive. The fight will end in 5. And that night, before a crowd of 55,000 people, Cleopatra was at ringside.
Was she?
Everybody was
Richard
there.
and Liz?
And he went in 5.
He won in less than that. You're talking about Burton, aren't you? You know, Sybil Burton just said in the paper the other day that she's not going to give up Richard. So Liz is going to have to get him from Hertz or rent or whatever it is. Anyhow, well, boy, I'm glad you're so confident. It's really good.
I'm a pitch of confidence. I'm the greatest thing. I'm the resurrector of the fight game.
You are.
If it wasn't for me, the whole thing would be dead.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Fighters don't come on shows like you know. A few more weeks, I'll be on probably the Jerry Lewis show, and
I think not. Well, I don't have it in rhyme, but I predict not. You haven't read the latest, have you? Well,
I'll make it just in time.
Huh?
I'll make it just.
Well, I hope you do. I hope that Jerry gets reprieved. I hope that something works out there. Listen, why don't you play for him? You'd rather play than fight with him, wouldn't you?
Oh, that's I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Well, why don't you play and let Cassius? Because if you can't fight, you know, if it doesn't work out, you can always get a job with Burma Shave. I think the way with his rhyming.
Would you like me to play?
Yeah, that'd be a beautiful combination.
All right.
Liberace and Cassius Clay.
All right.
Show him that ring you might hit him with, Lee.
You like? Say,
You may have a diamond navel before the night's over, Cassius.
Move that way a little bit. You're
Why?
standing in front of my candelabra.
Which one is it?
Well, you recite something and I'll make up the music to it. For a change, do the one about you.
This is the legend of Cassius Clay, the most beautiful fighter in the world today. He talks a great deal and brags indeedy of a muscular punch that's incredibly speedy. The fistic world was dull and weary. With a champ like Liston, things had to be dreary. Then someone with color, someone with dash, brought fight fans a running with cash. This brash young boxer is something to see, and the heavyweight championship is his destiny. This kid fights great. He's got speed and endurance. But if you sign to fight him, increase your insurance. This kid's got a left. This kid's got a right. And if he hits you once, you're asleep for the night. And as you lie on the floor while the ref counts 10, you pray that you won't have to fight me again. For I'm the man this poem is about, the next champ of the world, there isn't a doubt. Here I predict, and I know the score, I'll be champ of the world in 64. If Cassius says a mosquito could pull a plow, don't ask how, hitch him up. They got to hear this one.
Okay.
They have got.
All right.
They must hear this.
Okay.
They must.
All right. I want to start when you scratch your head.
All right.
All right. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you out there who won't be able to see the Clay Liston fight, here is the 8th round exactly as it will happen.
He did it.
Clay comes out to meet Liston, and Liston starts to retreat. If Liston goes back an inch farther, he'll end up in a ringside seat. Clay swings with a left, Clay swings with a right. Look at young Cassius carry the fight. Liston keeps backing, but there's not enough room. It's a matter of time. Clay lowers the boom. Now Clay lands with a right. What a beautiful swing. And the punch raises the bear clear out of the ring. Liston is still rising, and the ref wears a frown, for he can't start counting till Sonny comes down. Now Liston disappears from view. The crowd is getting frantic, but our radar stations have picked him up. He's somewhere over the Atlantic. Who would have thought when they came to the fight that they'd witnessed the launching of a human satellite? Yes, the crowd did not dream when they laid down their money that they would see a total eclipse of the sunny. Thank you. That's good. I'm a bad man like that. Glad to meet you.
Yeah, good. So long, guys. He has never finished this kid, does he?